Yes, people. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's the live Terrace Phone-In show. Liverpool eased past there. That was easy for Liverpool. They breezed past Ajax. No problems whatsoever. But I want to hear from you. I want to know your views. I want to know your opinions. The link to call in is inside the description below. So we're going to talk Ajax, Liverpool. We can talk City's game. We can talk any kind of subject you want. We want to start off with Liverpool, though. First and foremost, we want to start off with Liverpool tonight. Their excellent win away at Ajax. So we want to hear from you as soon as possible on that one. Make sure you're smashing the like button for us, people. It's so important to the Football Terrace that you do that for us. We need that from you massively. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Let's go straight into the calls here to see what people are thinking, feeling, and saying. Let's do this. Stephen is with us. Stephen's the Liverpool fan. What did you make of your team's performance tonight, mate?
Very nervy and got out of sort of jail tonight because there were a few chances Ajax could have scored tonight. And yeah, it's one of them games where it was really hard fought and very nervy. But overall, I'm really happy with the result. And I thought, questions going into the game that Fabinho and Gomez, what was the partnership going to be like tonight? But they did really well tonight, even though for the first 5 minutes they looked a bit shaky. But I thought the two of them had a really good standard game. And going forward, I hope it continues because, without Van Dijk in there, we gotta take every game now. It's not a rollover. These games are going to be tough going forward. But overall, I'm really happy with the win tonight.
Yeah, of course. And what did you make of Firmino at the back? Sorry, not Firmino. Fabinho at the back tonight. Came in, captained the team in the centre-back role. Looked solid. What's your opinions on that, mate?
I'm already seeing comments about Virgil van Fabinho. It's too early for me to say he's going to be Virgil's replacement. But against Chelsea and tonight, against Ajax and Chelsea, two top quality sides, I am going to be positive of him being that back there. But I think what Klopp will do is he will not want to risk Fabinho going back there again if Matip comes back but we all know he's injury prone. But I think if Matip comes back, I think he's going to put Matip and Gomez back there. But I think Fabinho back there, add someone else to it because remember I think he was a defender for Monaco even before he came to Liverpool. He played right back a lot for them, and so we've got that now. But overall, Fabinho's performance tonight was really good.
No, absolutely was, mate. Listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on. We'll speak to you again, Steve. Cheers, bro. Thank you. Next up on the show tonight, we've got Yusuf, who's a Man City fan. Your boys won. Oh, Yusuf's gone. He's bottled it. Let's jump into CFC Beats. We'll go to CFC Beats here. Bro, listen, your team played last night. We're talking Liverpool right now. What did you make of their performance this evening?
I think they had a good game today. I think that especially Minamino and Diogo Jota, when they came on, they looked very good. But I do think that they were very lucky that Ajax didn't finish some of their chances, especially that Huntelaar miss near the end of the game. But altogether, it was a great game from Liverpool. But now they have to go into the Premier League, knowing fully well that if they lose this Sheffield United game, it's not looking good for City.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, I get what you were. Sorry, I misunderstood what you meant there. Of course, it's so important for Liverpool. I can't remember the last time they went 3 league games without a victory, and they'll be desperate to pick up the 3 points. I think that's why they made those substitutions. The subs at 60th minute, I don't think they felt overly threatened by Ajax, and at the same time, I think I want to make sure I say this in the right way without sounding disrespectful. I don't think they felt overly threatened by Ajax. And at the same time, I think there was that sort of a situation where they were thinking about the weekend at the same time. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, Liverpool, there was a lot of questions about how good or bad they would look defensively this evening. How do you think they looked?
I think it was very good defensively. I think I underestimated the fact that I never thought Trent could defend, and today we saw that he could. I think now they're playing sort of Jose football with one fullback attacking and one defending. I think Jurgen Klopp is definitely taking something out of Mourinho's book, but I think altogether it was good defensively. But now they need to continue this because Virgil van Dijk is going to be a huge miss. Obviously, it's not death, but it's a huge miss, and we'll just see. We'll just see how the season goes.
No, I hear that completely. CFC Beast, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We'll chat to you again soon. Take care, buddy. Thank you. Next up on the show, we have Matt here with us. Matt, give me your thoughts on Liverpool's performance tonight, mate.
Well, first off, I really wasn't able to watch it, so I had to listen to it. But from what I was listening to, I kind of felt that it highlighted why we need Alisson back so quickly. Because from what I heard, Adrian made some mistakes that were a little bit nerve-wracking, like almost running into Gomez. Not that one punch out, that good punch out at the end that could have cost us the win. Very last few seconds in extra time. Gomez and Firmino, they did play. From what I heard, they played decent, even though it's no Van Dijk. So I'm sad that Van Dijk's going to be out for the whole season. Do I think we need a replacement? Yes, I think we might need a replacement. But overall, I think we played good. Taking out the 3 forwards for focusing on this weekend, that could have been a problem. And once Ajax started to go full forward, it seemed like a masterclass from Klopp. He was still able to get a huge amount of attacking potential from Firmino, Shaqiri, Jota, even when the 3 went off, because once Ajax took the 2 defensemen or 2 defensive midfielders off and went full throttle, it almost completely opened up for us. We could have easily gotten 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, and how are you feeling ahead of the Sheffield United game? Because it felt like some of the decisions tonight, resting Henderson as an example, taking the players off at 60 minutes, it felt like that was very much done with an eye for the weekend.
I'm always going to go into games a little bit much more cautiously than I would if Virgil was back there, and Thiago also. Resting Henderson, I thought that was a good idea because he's just coming off an injury and he only played 1 full game, which was the Everton game. And Sheffield United, they're no joke. They have a good defense, so it's not like it's gonna be easy. I mean, Chris Wilde, their coach, he's a very good coach. I mean, they were hard to break down. I mean, when we played them at Sheffield, we barely got the win just because of a Henderson mistake in goal.
No, I do hear that, bro. Listen, Matt, appreciate you coming on, my friend. We'll speak to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Next up on the show, we've got Kendall here with us, of course, watching her team, Atletico, take an absolute beating tonight. Of course, she saw her English team, Newcastle, lose at the weekend. You must not be very happy right now.
I just had the worst week for football ever. Literally, why? Why is 4 goals the theme of my week? It's actually just so tragic. I can't believe it.
Yeah, you've held 8 goals in a week. What went wrong for Atletico Madrid tonight? I didn't watch the game personally, but I've heard that Koeman was great. I've heard that Bayern Munich were just absolute animals tonight. What didn't quite work for Simeone's men?
They were, and the stupid thing is, obviously we know Bayern are very attacking, obviously with Lever and things like that, but obviously Atleti, they set up defensively, so it's a bit of a strange one, obviously going up against a team that's completely opposite to you, and defensively Bayern is where they're the weakest, not that they're weak, but they are the weakest defensively. We just pretty much everyone had a bad game. Coleman absolutely ran Trippier ragged. It was ridiculous. It just looked like Trippier didn't even show up basically. We were just getting stupid fouls away all the time. João Felix, he was really, really bad. But obviously, when you're playing so defensively, your forwards aren't really gonna be getting much service. But he was very bad. He gave a few bad balls away. I think for their second goal, he gave the ball away. And it just ended up being tragic. He missed the chance. Carrasco missed the chance. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It was very bad doing. I really didn't think it was going to actually go like that either. I mean, I wasn't naive, but I didn't think it was going to go as badly as that.
No, I hear that. I mean, João Felix is an interesting one for me because 2 summers ago, Manchester United fans cried. I'm talking physically cried because he went to Ati. They really wanted him. If we didn't sign him, our club was going to sort of combust into nothingness. It doesn't sound like he's really hit the ground running at Atletico yet. Do you think there's a potential that he maybe moved a little too young?
I don't know really what it is about him. I mean, last season he had a couple of like long-term injuries. So I think he was out right at the beginning of the season for a couple of months, and then in around about February time he was out for a few weeks, about 6 weeks. So that was his issue last year. So he wasn't getting a consistent start all the time. It was just like being there. And then when he does start, he just like, for me, he just doesn't have the desire. Like, he has the talent, and he's more than talented for a youngster, but he just doesn't have the desire. Like, you see him in the game, and he just doesn't seem to be in the game very much. He has like these bright sparks now and again, but doesn't seem to be in the game very much. So I really don't know. And a player like him as well, who is so attacking, a defensive setup's never ever going to suit him. So I mean, if he was maybe moved to a different team who were more attacking, then I think it might have been a different story, because obviously clearly Simeone's system isn't suited to a player like that. So that's why he sort of prefers like Costa over him a lot, because Costa can hold the ball up. So whereas Felix can't very much. So I think that's probably why he prefers Costa when he's fit, because obviously he's injured at the moment. So I don't know what it is about him. This season's going to be a massive, massive test for him. I think if it doesn't go the way he wants, if it doesn't go the way Simeone wants, and etc., I think he will probably this season, maybe the end of the season, they'll be looking at a new sort of path for him, I think.
No, I hear that completely. Kendall, listen, lovely to have you on again, and we'll speak to you again soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye. See ya. We got David in the house with us now, bro. Liverpool pick up the 3 points against Ajax. I thought it was a comfortable performance. I thought Ajax looked toothless tonight. I thought Ajax they couldn't score in a brothel. They were that bad, I felt. What did you make of Liverpool's performance yourself?
First of all, I haven't seen anything about Fabinho causing injury. You know, causing injury, should be out for all that time if we're going to keep it consistent. But apart from that, no, they played well.
Who did he injure? I must have missed that.
He injured one of their players. He went into a tackle. He was a bit late. Guy went off injured, and they brought on Promes, one of their young stars.
Oh, that's terrible. So if he's out for a few weeks, Liverpool fans will be very happy with Firmino missing a couple of. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But no. To be fair to Liverpool, they actually did. They obviously look weaker, but that's a natural thing. But they held Ajax down to very, very little chances. I mean, Ajax probably should have had about 2 goals, but you could say the same thing about Liverpool. I mean, it's naturally the way Ajax play just leaves them exposed. So it wasn't a shock that they will get, like, anything could happen in that game. So it wasn't a massive shock that Liverpool won. But yeah, obviously the big test now is this weekend. And also, did Mane get injured when he got taken off? Because he had the ice wrapped around him, which I was like,
Yeah, I mean, if they lose Mane as well, I'm not sure the fitness of all their players. It hasn't been said yet, but if they go into that game, it's an interesting one, because it's always funny, right? I was talking to Danny before the game kicked off, and I'm like, Liverpool could lose tonight, and he's like, yeah, but whenever you think Liverpool are going to lose, they win. It's whenever you think Liverpool will be fine today, it won't be a problem. And I felt that against Villa, and there was no issue. I thought the same against Everton, and they threw it away. But it is a tough test this weekend for Liverpool, and I think they know it as well. I can see the pressure mounting up on social media, because I actually saw lots of criticism tonight for Firmino goals. It was everywhere. I just see more and more Liverpool fans now starting to talk about, we need a striker that scores. We need attackers that score. We need players that score in our team. How much longer do you think they're going to give him? The guy, as we did the stats the other day, is something like he scored in two of their last 24, 25 games, something like that, which is just shocking. By the way, the best team in the world.
I've been saying it. He's the worst striker statistically for finishing in the Premier League. Like, he's worse than Joel Linton. Like, I'm not even joking. He's actually worse than Joel Linton at finishing. And it's not this thing of, he's not a natural striker, so he doesn't have to score goals. What I'm saying is that when he gets those chances to score, regardless of where he plays, he's missing the chances, which is it's going to cost them at some point. When you're winning, obviously you don't look at the problems as much as when you're losing.
Yeah, of course. No, I agree. I agree completely. He's a talented guy, and I was one of these people that was 18 months ago. You can find content out if you care to look, where I'm saying he's the best number 9 in the league, and that was because he was scoring some goals, but he was creating everything. I watched him tonight. I can't see what he's doing anymore, and you know he isn't doing as well because the Liverpool fans are slowly but surely starting to turn on him, and they're missing out on Timo Werner. I think I don't want to say it just now because they've got a long way to go, but the lack of goals could end up costing them titles this year.
Who have they got this weekend?
They've got Sheffield United.
You see, Sheffield should be an easy game, but there's just something about Sheffield with the way that they play, especially with not having an actual centre back, that might cost them a bit. Because they are with them tall overlapping centre backs, like just playing that long ball constantly, they will create chances.
Well, yeah, I mean it's going to be an interesting. It's a game that I think Liverpool should win, but they could have 5 or 6 of their first team players out, and no matter who you are. Look what happened today with Real Madrid. They started with a few of their first team players out.
Oh, speaking of Real Madrid, you know Shakhtar, 10 of their first team players were missing.
Yeah, no, because so that's not really an excuse for them. But whenever you take first team players out of any team, sometimes it can. I don't even know if it's you. I think it's your opponents can feel buoyed by that. They go, hang on a minute, this can give us an opportunity here. You saw it with Everton at the weekend. They were being bossed by Liverpool in those opening 15 minutes. And then Van Dijk goes off and Everton think, right, let's have a go at them now. They've lost their best player. So it's going to be an interesting one, mate. But David, thank you very much for coming on, brother. We'll speak to you again soon. Thank you. We got a man like Ram in the house. Your boy's got the victory tonight. Back to winning ways. First win in 3. Kept a clean sheet. Are you better without Virgil van Dijk?
Terry, that's funny. I think I didn't like that performance. I was sleeping halfway through the game. Like, it was just boring. Defensively, we were great. Going forward,
You were sleeping during your own team's match. What's wrong with you?
Bro, I was actually bored of the game. But like I said, defensively we were great. I think Fabinho was great. I think he man of the match for me today. Gomez was looking good. Adrian, less said about him, the better. But
in fairness to Adrian, though, he did pull off 2 or 3 good saves.
No, Terry, no. He's literally. I could have saved that. You just stand still, basically. Basically. Terry. Other than that, I think what we overlook is that I think there was a tactical change from Klopp today. I think it was very much seen that our defensive line has dropped back. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold was a big thing. It didn't go forward as much as we normally have our marauding fullbacks were going. Robertson was mainly the guy going forward. Trent was a little bit more reserved. I think defensively he was great. His aggression showed throughout the whole game, which was good. One thing I did want him to do is change up the formation. I'd like to see Curtis Jones in that like number 10 position. When I saw it was a 4-3-3, I was like, nah,
Curtis Jones really struggled. He was. I'm not trying to sound rude, but he looked poor tonight. And remember what I said to you in the summer? This is going to be an important season for these youngsters when they get given opportunities to play up against, like, start important games, not just a League Cup game or coming on for the last 10 minutes of a match that you're winning 3-0 and it's comfortable when it's easy. Does that make sense? Starting in must-win Champions League games, tough away Champions League matches. Now, I really want to see some of your youngsters giving starts in top 6 clashes. That's when you're really going to get the acid test to whether or not they can hack it at the highest level. I want to ask you a question, though. It looks like Mane might be out injured. You got Sheffield United at the weekend. How are you feeling about that?
Look, when it comes to every game, I'm always a little bit pessimistic. I always think of the bad things that are going to happen. Right now, I think Jota, when he came on, was very good. I think he'll be all right. I think we might have too much for them because obviously Sheffield United aren't in a great run of form. I think are they bottom of the Premier League, if I'm mistaken.
Bottom or second, but they haven't won a game yet. So yeah, I think drawn 1. Yeah,
I think so. I think bringing on taking off Jordan Henderson was a good thing. I think we need to keep him match fit for Sheffield United. So yeah, I think we might get the win just
there we go. Listen, Ram, appreciate you coming on, mate, having your say as ever, mate. We'll chat to you again soon. Cheers, brother. Thank you. Do us a favor, everyone tuning in, smash the like button right now. Please, please, please. We need you to do that. As well as that, we need you to start bookmarking the Football Terrace on your on Google, on Safari, or at least going to the channel every few hours and refreshing our homepage, because we have 71,000 subs, nearly 171,000 subs, nearly 172,000. We've now got the statistics. They're now publishing them. Only 22,000 people a day get a notification once that we go live on average, which is an absolute abomination. It's just over 10% of our viewers know when we go live. So you guys really need to be more proactive to know when things come out and when things are going on. A super chat here from Tom, who says, Klopp said Mane is fine. It's a precautionary sub. There we go. We're going to jump into some more calls here. We're going to get man like Aaron on, that I know was watching the Bayern Munich game. Aaron, back with us tonight. I know you were watching Bayern Munich's game. I heard they were really good. I heard they were really good.
Yeah, they were ruthless, very aggressive. Don't get me wrong, Atleti kind of disappointed me today because I expected a bit more from them with the quality that they have in the team. Started off with a really good formation, 4-4-2, very flat, very classic 4-4-2 with Joao Felix and Suarez up front. I have to say, Suarez today was not looking like the Suarez we knew from Barca. I don't know what it is. You would say, you could possibly say, yeah, he's trying to fit in, but in his first game, he gave an assist and scored a goal. So he doesn't really need to fit into this team. So yeah, I was a bit surprised with Atleti's performance today, but Bayern Munich just on top, man. To me, the thing that made me laugh a bit was the substitutions. Like, they're taking off Kingsley Coman and bringing on Douglas Costa. They're taking off Thomas Müller and bringing on Alphonso Davies. They're taking off Lewandowski. Okay, that's not comparable, but they're taking off Lewandowski and bringing on Choupo-Moting. The squad depth is just ridiculous, completely ridiculous. And they won 4-0 convincingly, and all of that without Sane and without Gnabry. And I don't even want to know what they can do with those two players and the others on the bench. Like, it's just ridiculous. And at this point, I'm not trying to overhype things and talk too soon, but watching a bit all of the games that I've seen here and there and the results, I don't know if there's anyone that's going to be able to beat Bayern Munich this season. I honestly don't. For me, again, clear favourites to win it.
Yeah, what I've read about them and I can only see what I was saying on socials and listen to what you just said there. They look potent, as you said. There is extra. It's almost like being able to take off Fred and bring on Paul Pogba. Do you know what I mean? It's just amazing. And that's what's really interesting about when I look at Liverpool and City at the moment, who are on paper the best two English sides. I know that Liverpool have got injuries, so it looks worse. But you start looking at their benches, and you sort of like, oh God, it is threadbare. And that's the one thing with Bayern. If they get 2, 3, 4 first team players out injured, they have the squad depth to replace them and still have a strong bench. And so they're in a very potent position, and beating Ati 4-0 as well. Atletico Madrid, just you very rarely see them get slapped because of how they play under Simeone. So I mean, tonight Simeone's going to be in. He's going to be angry about that, frustrated about that as an example. But at the end of the day, we know what Bayern Munich are doing. Of course, Liverpool got their win tonight. I look at they ease past them. I don't really think Ajax caused them too many issues. First off, yes, a couple of good opportunities, good saves. They had the ball cleared off the line. But the longer the game went, you watch those matches where the longer the game goes on, the less likely a certain team are to score. They just run out of ideas. Like, Ajax went long ball in the end. Like, they started ball long, which is an interesting one for Liverpool. But of course, they've got a big game at the weekend against Sheffield United, because I think it must be about 3 years since Liverpool have gone 3 Premier League games without a win. Wow. So for them, you could tell that's why they were taking off Mane, Roberto Firmino and Salah. I wanted to ask you about Firmino, though. I've seen a lot of tweets from Liverpool fans during the game. You started to see that frustration come out that he doesn't score enough goals. This time last year, they were telling us on this show, no, we defensive striker, box-to-box striker, whatever they were like phrasing it. Now it's like, maybe because they're not as potent and as good, they're starting to get a bit frustrated. Did you always expect that to happen?
I could see it coming. I didn't expect it to be so soon because they were always talking about this defensive striker thing. But honestly, I know of a couple of Liverpool fans that have been saying it. They said, yes, obviously Firmino's doing a whole linking up and making sure he's the glue between Salah and Mane. He's making sure he's the glue between the midfield and the attack. But at some point, we're going to have to see goals. And listen, he's a striker at the end of the day, man. And I know he didn't play in the striker's position at Hoffenheim, but he's been at Liverpool for some time now. He's had way more than enough time to adjust to that striker's position, in my opinion. So he's going to have to deliver because I can see already the changes are coming in more and more often between him and Jota. And, you know, Jota, you can say what you want about him, but he comes on and he scores when, obviously not every game, but he does score. So and the competition for places is a bit tougher this season as well, I think, for Liverpool. I think last season, they pretty much played most important games and a lot of games in the league as well, and in the Champions League with that front three. But I think this season it's going to be a bit different. Klopp wants to rotate a bit more. So yeah, Firmino, if he wants to, you know, solidify that number 9 spot, he's going to have to score, man. No, if he doesn't, others will do it.
Yeah, LFC Sonny's with us. First of all, what did you make of your team's performance tonight?
Performance-wise, I don't think we were great. I think if Ajax had anything about them in attack, they could win that game quite easily, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and one thing I'd say about Ajax, the expression I would use, they were all bark and no bite. They moved the ball well, did great. There was 2 or 3 times where they reminded me of Arsenal, old Arsenal in the box. They get the ball in the box and it was like, shoot. And there was always one pass too many. And I'm thinking, why man not shooting? Like, it's crazy. What they needed was a Marcus Rashford tonight who just shoots whenever he feels like it. Do you know what I mean? Just bang, 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 not even aiming. Firmino at the back, centre-back performance tonight. I think LFC Sonny might have frozen here out of sight. Try come back through in a minute. Gal's here. Oh, Samuel's here as well. Samuel, you got a dressing gown on, bruv.
Well, I just got my robes on, you know, just a little cold.
Robe on, red t-shirt, glasses. Man sitting there like a young Hugh Hefner, giving it. Gal, bruv. Liverpool tonight, solid defensively. I want to speak about Firmino, though. You've got a striker at your club, lack of threat that everybody gets not scoring enough, right? Do you think it's about time that the social media football world got on Firmino's back for being a striking charlatan?
First minute of silence for Van Dijk, honestly. We've seen that before the game. It was emotional. People had tears in their eyes. They did this for Van Dijk. Don't forget, today's performance was for Van Dijk, people. But yeah, on the next side, we know about Firmino. The man, if you guys want, if you have a one-on-one and anyone on Liverpool is going to have that one-on-one chance, you want it to be Firmino, because he's not going to make that chance. He misses open shots after open shots. He did it in the Community Shield against us. If it wasn't for Firmino, you would actually see a Liverpool attack that's more potent because he's holding them back. He's that piece that's holding them back. They use him to be a creative midfielder almost and drop deep. But with the midfield options they have with Thiago now, you need a clinical striker. And this is where they missed a trick, not getting Werner, which was their top option for Liverpool this season. We all know it. They wanted him. And you know what? He will be to their detriment because their midfield is not going to be the same midfield, the workhorse midfield. Now that they have Thiago, they're going to have creativity. He's going to get chances, and he needs to finish their chances. That's it. Lacazette, you keep making jokes, but he has the same situation as Lacazette. You're going to see this year he's going to get exposed.
Wow, Firmino getting exposed. Samuel, what you saying, bruv?
I was watching the Bayern Munich game, and the way they play, I mean, it's very, very concerning for the rest of Europe because they played Atletico Madrid and Simeone, who play pragmatic football. You know, even when they lose by 1 goal. But today, without Gnabry and Leroy Sané, who was injured, they tore him apart. And Lewandowski was absent today. No one saw him. He wasn't there. And they still won 4-0 without their best player performing to the top level. You know, the rest of Europe should be concerned because Bayern Munich are the top of the crop. Yeah, you know, if they play someone like Liverpool right now, Liverpool will hold 9 or 10.
I'm not. You see how we put, bruv, this is what I'm about to say, right? I know Van Dijk is amazing. Man, we got Axel Tuanzebe, bruv. Do you know what? The other day I was like, what funny name can we make up to Tuanzebe? I like Axel Desai, Rant put it out, made me laugh. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm not disrespecting Axel. He's Axel Tuanzebe, brother. Do you know what I mean? That is who he is. And I want to get this right. Family roots, Aaron. Is he from the Congo? Is he Congolese as well?
Tuanzebe,
Yeah, of course. I don't know why I heard that. I read that. So yeah, him and AWB there could be having, that partnership could work. You get what I'm saying?
What type of partnership?
Well, Arrow won the Chagger, mate. He's out there doing what he does.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could adopt a football player to be my son, I'd be so proud of AWB, man. I would be like, son, you did that.
Oh man,
I love him.
Yeah,
Terry,
dying, man.
you asked me a question yesterday before I left the stream. I'm ready to answer it now after resolving and understanding that we're not in the chat. Yeah, I had to go because honestly, but I will tell you this, Terry, you said it yourself. Watching the Champions League, not being in it, it makes you realize what you're missing. And even though it's not the Champions League itself, we're going to be watching tomorrow. We're going to be watching a game, Rapid Vienna. And it's going to be hard for yourself to get up for it because the first team players are not going to be playing. You're not going to have any competition.
There's only one good thing I can take.
And the whole group stages of the Europa League is just dead compared to the Champions League, where you're going to have at least 3 to 4 good games every season in the group stages. So you know what? Big up to you guys.
Well, the Europa League doesn't get exciting until about the semi-finals, and then I think that's when it kicks. With the Champions League, the Champions League's a weird one because, Man United were lucky. Our first game was Paris Saint-Germain. Liverpool got Ajax, is pretty good, of course. Tonight, you get a handful of good group stage games, but United will go to the middle of the group. And no disrespect, you have to beat Istanbul because it's the competition, but they are harder to get up for. It's a bit like Premier League games, When in normal circumstances, when you have West Brom at home, it doesn't have the same feeling as Arsenal away. They're different. But I do get you on that. I do get you on that.
The level in the Champions League is less than the level in the Premier League because the team that got promoted has more valuable players and a bigger value squad than some of these teams you face in the Champions League.
One thing I would say about the Champions League this season is these little teams from Eastern Europe and Turkey, they got no fans there, because they got the most passionate supporters helping them on, and maybe they won't do well this season. So it's a disappointment.
I think one of the reasons Arsenal were doing so well post-lockdown, barring the first few games, is you're used to your crowd being so. Your fans are a library, bruv. Arsenal's brand doesn't make much noise in comparison. So you're used to silence. But then there's no excuse for City that have been pretty poor because they don't have any fans. So it's an interesting one. But Samuel, thank you for coming on, mate. We'll keep Agawa and Aaron with as long as we can. We're going to throw Indiana in. LFC Sunny is with us as well. LFC Sunny, sorry, cut off, mate. We're going to talk about Firmino. A lot of Liverpool fans on social media getting at him about his lack of goals. What's your opinion as a Pool fan?
I completely agree. I mean, he last maybe 14 months he's been shocking. If we have anything about us, we get a new striker this summer.
Really?
100%. He does not do enough for this team anymore. Just not even off the ball anymore. I used to think he was good without scoring goals. Not even that anymore.
What do you think's changed? Is it people have found him out? Is he being nullified? Is he lost his desire?
I really don't understand because I used to think he used to be a ruthless striker. Now he doesn't. He's scared to shoot and things like that. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly lost a kind of cutting edge, if that makes sense. And do you know what it could be? I mean, how long has he been there now? 6 years? 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Sometimes players just need a change, if that makes sense. They kind of get a very few handful of players that are one club players. You get even less that even do. You get a lot of players do what a Wayne Rooney did and spend 10 years plus at a particular football club. It doesn't really happen. Maybe he's just got to a point in his career where he needs that change now. And it might be, this could be, you get through this year, win the Premier League again because you're still favourites, get a lot of money for him, and then you try and invest that in killing Mbappe or another striker out of Haaland as an example. Haaland, you don't even need to sell Firmino for much. He's available for 50 million quid this summer.
That would be an unreal sign.
Haaland in this Liverpool team, I actually think I'd cry.
You know what, Terry?
In the corner, in the shower, naked, sitting there.
I don't think he is, Terry, is he?
What?
I don't think he is available for 50 mil this year. I think that's in 2 years. I think it's 75, isn't it?
I thought it maybe
even 75.
Yeah, I got a left shout. We're talking about Liverpool here, but you guys know Manchester City are no joke, and they can go drop that money and say, "Oh, Aguero, you're leaving, but goodbye," and go and get a Messi, go and get a what do you call it, an Mbappe. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to a Manchester City over a Liverpool. Because let's be honest, Liverpool are not going to pay the top dollar. They don't pay their players top dollar. They don't pay their wages the way Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, or Arsenal do.
You'd be surprised. Liverpool's wage bill has grown
It's gone up
by
a lot.
nearly 90% in a few years. Liverpool Football Club, don't get this twisted. This is why net spend is fake, because clubs don't have a net spend calculator. Oh, we spent 200 million on players, but we sold for 300 million. They also account into that agent costs, salaries, bonuses, image right costs as well. That at Liverpool has grown collectively between 80 and 90% in all those different areas. So their bill each year has grown by hundreds of millions of pounds. So they may not spend as much on transfers, but keep the Van Dijks, the Allisons, the Manes, the Salahs. They've had to increase wages by millions of pounds a month for the collective group. So they may not invest as much on players in the market, but they have to spend. It's a bit like with Tottenham. Tottenham had to get their balance right of increasing the salaries of people to keep their stars. And that's why Liverpool and Spurs have seen a difference in results in the last 4 or 5 years as opposed to the last 15, 20 years in the Prem, because they haven't been forced into selling their best players. Liverpool, for me, barring Steven Gerrard, they pretty much always lost their best players in the Premier League, or it felt that way. McManaman left on a free. Michael Owen wanted to go. Torres. These
Alonso.
All their best players end up leaving. Like the very best. Suarez ends up going. Sterling ends up going. Spurs were the same. As soon as this club changed internally and just started paying the wages. And that's the same with Arsenal. You've actually turned around and done it with Aubameyang. And what makes me laugh with you gooners is you don't want to admit that you've given him the money. You want to pretend you haven't. I'd be proud of it. Be proud.
Listen, but let me ask you this about Liverpool. You've seen their finances. Isn't majority of their finances backed by bonuses, just like every other club is? But at the same time, their percentages for bonuses might be more. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, they pay big salary to their players. They are, and there are bonuses included, but most clubs do that. Don't listen to what the media report. The media had proof of what they say players are on. They print it and tell you where they get it from. They make things up. It's like I can't remember his name. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's on 150 a week, raising to 250, scoring goals, winning games, feeding kids, etc. Right? But that just they leave that out. And you guys know I talk privately behind the scenes what I do and did for a job, and I know. So I don't need to get what I mean. Like these things are just what they are. Simple as that. There we go. Listen, LFC Sonny, thank you very much for coming on, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you, my man. We're gonna throw into the chat here. Carl's been waiting a while. What you saying, bro?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, my brother. Who do you support?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, but give me your thoughts on your performance tonight.
I think it was a solid performance. I just love how we played. We were pragmatic. We defended. I think it was a bit of a lucky goal, but that's football. And we didn't get a luck in Everton. So I think we got our goal. Finally got our goal. And nothing is better in Champions League.
No, I agree completely. What do you make of the fans tonight that are calling out Firmino for his lack of goals and creativity and influence in matches now? Is it something you're noticing and becoming frustrated with, or have you still got faith in him?
I am not frustrated with Firmino. Firmino, from the beginning, when we signed him, he's not a striker, but I love his football IQ. And that guy is just amazing with what he can do with a ball. But I also think that cases in point, when he plays with Brazil, he's a total different player. Like Neymar, Coutinho, Everton, a player named Everton, Richarlison. He's being set up to score goals. Like during the international break, I think he scored 3 goals. So I don't think his problem is finishing. I think his problem is that he's not receiving enough. I think he's a high volume shooter, and he's the kind of guy who needs to score 1 goal. He needs 5 shots.
Right.
And maybe he's just not accurate enough, and I also think that sometimes he plays too pretty. Like I think they were playing Peru or Bolivia. No, they were playing Bolivia. He had a 1-on-1 with the goalie. He tried to chip the goalie, but the goalie is big and tall. He saved it. But that should have just been hey, put it choose a side and score. But that's not what he did. So I'm guessing his football mentality, I don't need to bang it. I just need to place it somewhere, play it around with it, make it beautiful, and some stuff like that. Goalies are nowadays are too good.
He's got a very different role, though, hasn't he, for Brazil and Liverpool? He's had to do two very different jobs.
He does. That's basically what I'm saying. Is that at Liverpool he's playing the false 9, he's playing the creator, he's playing the 10. But with Brazil, he's just here to play striker, and that's also bad for Brazil because they no longer have a number 9. But at Liverpool, just like you said, he's playing a different position. But the position that he's playing, I'm fine with the fact that he's not scoring too many goals because he's here to create. Now we bought Thiago, and now we need a striker. And just like you said earlier, we missed our chance on Timo Werner, and we should have brought a striker. We should have brought someone to come and score goals. And I think that might hurt us, but I do think that, again, he's such an intelligent football player. I don't think we will suffer, as Igal was saying. Man, we're both the same countrymen. I don't know where he's at with his head.
To Igal.
Yeah, Igal. He's from Toronto. We're from the same province. Sometimes whatever he's saying, it just goes past my head. I'm like, that don't make no sense. But I mean, he loves football. He loves Arsenal. I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I get that. Whereabouts in Canada are you from?
I'm from Ottawa, so
that's my city. Baby. I love it. I've been there a couple of times. I'm a Sens fan. I've been to see this a few times. So yeah, man, I'm up there. My team, bro.
That's good. That's good. I go to Toronto all the time, play some football with a lot of the Jamaicans and a lot of Caribbean people. It's fun out there.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We've got Stro with us as well, a Liverpool fan on the show with us now as well. What do you make about the Firmino chat tonight, bro? What are you saying?
I disagree with a lot that I've just heard. My issue with Firmino is this: is he there to create space for the likes of Salah and Mane's run? Absolutely. We cannot move away from the fact that this man is missing and has missed clear-cut chances. This man gets chances for Liverpool Football Club. Anyone that plays in that front three, you are getting a handful of chances. He lacks a killer instinct. Simple finishes, for example, the one against, who was it now? Against Leeds, where he can just roll it in with his left foot and he tries to hit it with the outside of his right and it's going across goal. Like any other striker just rolls that in with the left foot and it's a finish. Aston Villa, key part of the game, I think it was 2-1 at this point to make it 2-2. And all he's got to do is just slide it under the keeper and he tries dinking it. And it's just like, you can definitely tell he's not a natural striker and he's not a natural goal scorer. That's my issue with him. But even so, you still see midfielders finishing them kind of finishes. You look at Rashford. I've seen him do a handful of different finishes. Aguero, and not even to name like the elite of the elite. I'm talking like, for example, if you were to look at Patrick Bamford, look at his goal against us. It's just it's a simple finish, and I don't see that from. Yeah, it's frustrating because he is a world-class player. He's got world-class abilities, but for me, it's like he's gone off the boil a bit. His pressing's not really been the same. It's not really been intense. It's like simple passes. So for example, the Firmino from a couple of seasons ago, you'd see him do a no-look through ball pass, and it'd cut the defense. And it's like them passes are on against Everton. He must have tried 2 or 3 of them, and he just wasn't beating the man. And it's just like, this isn't the same Firmino that I've seen for the past 2 seasons.
I would say, right, my club, my whole life that I remember from the early 90s through till 2013 was pretty much consistently successful, either winning leagues, second, once third, like always there. Something Fergie did on a number of occasions is take a player for it was with different reasons, but he would take a player at his peak, and still sell them. So he did it with Mark Hughes, he did it with Paul Ince, he did it with Konchesky. He later on said that he was a bit hasty with Jaap Stam, but he did it with Jaap Stam. Beckham for different reasons. He did it with Ruud van Nistelrooy that was still look at look at Van Nistelrooy's record when he went to Real Madrid, but there were reasons for it. Sometimes it was footballing around, I need to make space for a youngster, or I need to do something different because I want to change the way Ronaldo plays. Sometimes it's maybe the media circuit you're bringing to the club I don't want in Beckham. It might be a discipline thing with Stam, all different reasons. But he
Just to freshen it up.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's where Liverpool, it's not even about. I think if you sold Bobby next week and he went to Bayern Munich, if Bobby went to Juve, I think you might go, hang on, he's killing it. Why don't we keep him? Sometimes the old adage of a change is as good as a rest for a player. And I think maybe you're just getting to that stage where your main first 11, after 2.5 years of being at his potent best, and of course, the likes of Firmino being very good for 2 or 3 years before that, maybe it's just getting to a point now where there does need to be 1 or 2 members of your mainstay 11 that move on and some new blood come through to rejuvenate it. And that isn't, I mean, again, as a Man United fan, I hope you do it and I hope it don't work. But it could.
Can I interject for a second? Of
course you can, bro. Of course you can.
Yeah. So I think let's talk about football. Let's talk about football, like the movement. So I think what's happening now is that he's no longer able to bait defenders, center back, or left back or right back to move forward. So those passes are no longer working. It's not because he doesn't have the talent or he's not up on his game anymore. I felt that again, just like you. I think you said that a lot. That Liverpool has been found out. So that's the number one reason why we brought Thiago. But I don't think it's because that's the reason. I think we need to give him more time, especially now that we've brought Thiago, to see can he be a number 9. If he's gonna still play the same way, then I think that we have to drop them in. And we made a horrible decision by letting go of Booster. Again, Booster is not the answer. It is not the answer, but we should have kept Booster because I think that Booster would have been a better finisher in certain games, or we put him at the 70th minute and then he found a little bit of space and he scores. But I kind of agree with you. What's your name? Zero. I kind of agree with you with the train of thought you're saying, but I disagree with you is because I think he has not yet had the time to change how he used to play because we've brought someone to do what he used to do.
I hear that.
I think there's a mix. I think there's a mixture going on here. I think number one, when I said Liverpool finishing third because they've been found out, everyone kind of looked at me a bit strangely. For me, you can't play the same style of football with the same players 3-4 years in a row and not expect to drop off. I don't think Firmino's as hungry as he was, and I think he's been found out. I think he gets less space on the ball. When you look at a striker and he's not scoring the simple tap-ins that Stroh was talking about, that tells me he's not as hungry as he was before. The best way to do that is to buy in a striker. You've just won the Premier League. You should be looking at buying a striker in. You should be looking at scoring more goals, being stronger in that department. And I think that was the big problem there.
Yeah, but that's not our manager style. That's not Klopp's style. Like if you look at
but Klopp's style at the previous clubs has been a massive drop off.
Yeah. If you see, before he came to Liverpool, Dortmund was coming down. Like there was a lack of a goal, lack of a defense. Everything was crumbling down, and that's what they brought Tuchel. Like everything was crumbling down, but so far I don't have an issue with the.
No, I don't think Liverpool are dropping off like the Dortmund thing. I think if they went this whole season and then went next summer, didn't make any significant signings again, you could see that because it's natural. Teams ebb and flow, and you need to keep bringing in new players. You know, it's just what Arsenal never did. It's one of the big things that stops Wenger being a great manager, in my opinion. He had a very good team. He took over and did brilliantly with them. He then built his own team and they became treble winners. Invincible. Sorry. And then he never built a great team again. He never rebuilt. So he came into a brilliant team and got amazing stuff out of a brilliant group of players. He then built that team that started, the Henrys of this world. He started bringing this in. He built a team up that won league titles, went invincible. Great team over a 4 or 5 year period. And then he never did it again. And this is the test for Klopp now. Because for me, when you want to go down, and it's one of the reasons why the Jose's, the Peps and stuff, I put them just behind some of the old-fashioned greats who built great teams at their clubs. Those teams faded, and they rebuilt at the same club. It's a hard thing to do because it's a challenge to keep yourself motivated. Now, we've all done it in work. The amount of people that move jobs, it's like, I've done 3 or 4 years here. I want a new challenge. I'm going to go somewhere else. These guys did that, and I want to see if I'm really intrigued to see if Jurgen Klopp can now take this team, Thiago, Haaland, whoever it may be, 3 or 4 new signings over the course of the next year, and then if they can come again. The test is here for Pep now as well. Pep's team, if you look at his team now, it's the one that was winning the league a couple of years ago, quite a lot of new players and new personnel. Can he get this new group of players? There's been easily 7, 8, 9 new players coming in since the last time they won the league. Can he get them to win the league now? Can he do it twice like that? It may be in a short period of time, but there we go. But boys, listen, I appreciate you all getting involved tonight. Everyone who's tuned into the shows, hit the like and share button. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Good night. God bless.